In today's vlog episode, I talk Venice versus Lakewood Ranch under $450,000, a $350,000 four-bedroom family home in the Tampa suburbs versus Sarasota suburbs, Canadian quarantining, and Germany to Florida building a home on a VA loan. Real quick, for those that don't know me, I'm Adam Hancock. I have a real estate group in Southwest Florida, and I put out daily videos on Florida relocation and investment assistance. And like for access to over 90 videos in the last 11 months and counting. Hey, what's up guys? I just stepped out of the office to give you a little update. Kind of have a big office catch-up day today, so I'm going to be doing a myriad of different items, and then I'm going to hop in between to give you guys some context, and anything that would seem interesting I'll highlight. So this morning I was kind of catch-all from yesterday, and I have a few different things going on today. So I have a gentleman that I just put under contract at Venice Woodlands about a month ago. We were able to grab a spec home that'll be complete. Cool thing with them is I think their fiscal year ends October 31st, so they're really incentivized to complete this home, so it looks like almost a guarantee for like a September finish for him, and we just did that a month ago, so that's great. Venice Woodlands has Meritage and Toll. They're the kind of cheaper Toll Brothers offering versus the Isles, and it's gonna be really nice. It's like 2,400 square feet pool I think he's gonna add, and it should be under 650 all in, maybe even less than that, so really nice. So with him, getting impassioned with the superintendent, a lot of times the design sessions right now are happening like even 45 to 60 days after the build, because you know they don't affect permit and just scheduling and stuff like that, but most people are coming in from out of town, so doing that. Also trying to find, it's been kind of a bear to find rental homes at the moment. We actually found finding people like holding them, like realtors that own homes, finding them holding them for their own clients, which you know makes sense to me because that's what I would do too. I have a ton of clients looking for the same. Especially if like a dog and a cat, it becomes tricky. So working through all that. So that's gonna be all good here. So get that all cleaned up. I also have a closing today in Venice, on Venice Island. So I helped a guy from Canada buy, I think it was the cheapest 3-bedroom unit on the entire island, fully furnished. It was like super clean, for $350. So that ended up working out really nice. It was multiple bids and we were able to secure that. So he closed today. And Canada has pretty strict COVID protocols apparently with the quarantining when you fly in and out. So a lot of people are choosing just to kind of hold off completely right now. So I'm going to kind of coordinate property management and on his behalf, because he doesn't want to, he wants to kind of wait it out and see if he can kind of travel after the protocols have been alleviated, so he doesn't have to quarantine when he gets back, family and all that kind of stuff. So so that's going to be good. And a lot, like with this light stuff, like I mean full-on property management, and there's varying degrees of it, but some of this light stuff, there's almost like these house sitter companies that'll just come on and like turn the water on and you know make sure everything looks good and that, and it's pretty affordable. It was like $40 a visit or something like that. So we're going to do that. And then I had a new call with a gentleman from Germany. Well, so he's from the United States, I think Miami, but stationed in Germany in the military. And what he's trying to do is 4 to 6 months relocate to Sarasota and buy or build. And that becomes kind of tricky because this is not a situation where he can visit. And then what's interesting with his, I thought would be interesting to multiple people, is he's trying to use a VA loan. Because you know it's a really nice military benefit with the down payment and all that kind of stuff. But if you build and use a VA loan, then most of them aren't all of a sudden going to allow you not to have to put down the 10% to start the build. And then he likes Devalsta, and I think a lot of those are at 20% right now. So that becomes kind of, a lot of people aren't aware of that, you know, so like be excited about no down payment. But if you build, you still need to liquidate, you know, 40 to 60K in order to do a build on, you know, that level house. So we kind of talked through that. We're going to try to do a Devalsta under 450, maybe Talon Preserve, maybe Island Walk's pretty mature, maybe Mallory Park and Lakewood Ranch. But so we're going to get that kind of going, and then just figuring out the logistics of, truck's kind of loud, figuring out the logistics of, you know, if you can't see this thing at all, or do we wait and see if we can get a resale in 5 months, or where's the market going to be there? But so that's going on. And then let's see what else. So I have to order business cards today. So I tried to actually be not a business card guy. That was kind of my approach. I was going to be, I'm not a business card guy, you know. I always throw them away when people hand them to me and stuff, but it's becoming a problem. Mostly like other B2B type of stuff that using them, needing them. So I think I'm gonna break down and go business cards. I know no one probably cares, but I'm thinking about maybe going like a QR code with the YouTube channel or something, you know, something that you might actually like keep, you know, because I just toss them, like I said. And then, so kind of the rest of the day, so I had to kind of align, you know, I get like inquiries from, you know, YouTube, and there's like my personal numbers on some videos, and like the number that goes straight to my emails and another one, which, you know, because if people text me and I'm driving and stuff like that, and I'm bad about like kind of forgetting that sometimes. So I kind of try to consolidate the things so I can sit down and like get back to people as quick as possible. And so I scheduled about 5 calls this afternoon with all new inquiries. So I'm going to, that should be some really nice insight. People trying to do a myriad of different things and similar conversations, but different price points. So I'll bring you guys in on that. And then I'm also going to line the rest of this week. I have people coming in tomorrow. I have people coming in Thursday. I have like, I think there's like 5 or 6 people coming in from Saturday to Monday. So once I kind of get the download for all that, I'll hop back on as well there and give you guys as much insight as I can. And then this will just be kind of a really random ad hoc catch all day, but I should have a ton of conversations. And I'm going to be bringing on my assistant here in about a week. So that'll be cool. So I'll bring you guys in when I do that. And yeah, so I'll hop back on when I hit kind of the next step of the day, and we'll go from there. Hey guys, I am back. I just got off a few calls and I'm heading to get coffee round 2, maybe round 3, not sure. But I talked to a few folks. It was kind of interesting, so I wanted to walk you through their criteria and what they're trying to do to see, you know, maybe if it gives you some insight as well. So, and I think we finally have in Ballora, I think we finally won the lot reservation for that. So that'll be kind of cool to walk through that as we go with that. That's going to be a completely from scratch build with the custom builder E&M. So that'll be kind of cool for people if you've never done that kind of thing where you draft up a full design and you buy the lot and they piece it together and that kind of thing. There's a cool hotel behind me, or condo rather. So my first call was with a gentleman that's doing something interesting that I've actually done a few times recently. So he wants to, 600 to 650K, out of state, wants to quit his job, so wants to buy the properties first, you know, because it's so much easier to get a mortgage. They view they view a mortgage on a W-2 job like you're never gonna ever lose your job ever. You can make $1 trillion with self-employed, and if you don't have the, you know, you haven't been doing it for 2 years, even if it's the same industry, you don't have the tax returns, or you don't, you know, obviously a lot of people don't report the taxes in a way that looks like they make a lot of money. It's kind of black and white. So a lot of people will, you know, kind of secure properties, close them, and then do whatever you want job-wise. So 650K, and what he wants to do is buy 2 different places instead of 1. Hopefully the wind's not too bad here. So what I'm real high on with this model is kind of looking at 2 different things. So you could do long-term rentals, like year-plus rentals in suburban communities where you do the villa or the townhomes and you buy 2 of them in a neighborhood where it's mostly single family. So like 2 villas in Windward or Grand Palm, you know, net 600 to 700K, both of them. They have the lowest HOAs, the lowest CDDs because of the square footage, but still uses all the same amenities. You can't build a pool, but with a rental house, you might not want a pool anyway for the burden. And then it's kind of a cool ivy thing right here. And then, or you could do like townhomes in Lorraine Lakes, which those are gonna be 1,900 square feet, 3 bedrooms. So I love long-term rental in a nice community with good school districts. So Windward has a lower school district, but because then you can rent to families, and it rents like a single family income wise. So that's really easy to cash flow in a new property. You're not responsible for, sweet hair. You're not responsible for the roof because they're connected, and you're not responsible for exterior maintenance or lawn, right? So it's like, it's basically turnkey. I mean, it's net of whatever you acquire that at, and there's not a lot of reserves or anything you're gonna need to save for a long time because it's brand new. So that model against doing like short-term beach rental, that kind of thing. So the long-term rental, you're gonna be restricted to doing annual rentals there. You're not gonna really have the ability to do something shorter. So you gotta get to the beaches or get to like a mature area like Vamo or parts of Gulf Gate or South Sarasota. But then that's like a feeding frenzy investor-wise. Like if anything comes up under 300 in those areas, I mean, good luck trying to win that as a resale, especially with a mortgage. So so then you can go to the beaches and you could do like a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex, still get a residential mortgage, but then do the same thing. You're playing with occupancy versus them being separate units. Or you could go individual condos on Siesta and get higher Airbnb type of rentals, but you just are dealing with fees there. So I've been real high on doing the single family or the villa rentals in new construction communities. And I also think it's probably one of the biggest, appreciation opportunities in all of town, because there's people building in the same, like Grand Palm, there's people building in there for $850 on single family, where you can be all in on a villa for $350 or $370 or whatever. So that's an option. And then, yeah, so I'm trying to figure that out, right? So that one I'm gonna kind of hand pick and send like concierge version of stuff you can't search, right? So I need to see the landscape of what's spec, what's not. There's Renaissance with Mattamy Homes have any right now in, gosh, freaking new construction haven over here. Does Renaissance have any with Mattamy and Welland Park? What's going on with Grand Palm? So that's gonna be a timing thing. And then can we like, this guy's gonna move, right? So if he sells his house and moves into one and rents the other, then he can actually do a 5% conventional mortgage on one because it's his homestead. Buy the second one as an investment property, so he doesn't need to put down 40% total on the two properties. So that was one. So that was really interesting. I really like that model, and a lot of people have been playing with that idea. So I thought I'd kind of fill you in there. And then the second one, it's been coming up a lot. So there's 700K, like a front part here, 700K, and they really like Siesta Key. You want to be beach, but probably want to do a single family, so it pushes to the suburbs. So when they come in town, we're going to look at there's the Embassy House right there, if anyone's familiar with that building. When they come in town, we're going to do like kind of a Lakewood Ranch day one, because even Waterside and Lakewood Ranch is 17 miles from the coast, where like Artistry and Sky Ranch and a lot of Palmer's like 9 to 11. So that's significant, especially if you like Siesta Key better, because the South Sarasota is way more parallel to Siesta, where all of Lakewood Ranch is going to be like Lido, Anna Maria, Holmes area. So we're going to look at basically 700K or under, 2,100 square feet, 3 bedrooms, nothing crazy, but a little bit above villa. So it could be interesting because on that size house, you could do a 45-foot lot. You don't need a 62, which is going to open availability because of how many people the demand is for the other ones. So it's almost like the same communities I'd recommend villas in, to do like the mid-level, like the Cove series with Neil instead of the Coastal or something like that. So we're going to look at that. And then we're also going to look at, like, if you're in Lakewood Ranch and you do the Azario and the Watersides and the Windwards of the world, and then the day 2 you go to Sky Ranch, Hammock Preserve, Sunrise Preserve, Promenade Estates, Talon Preserve, and you do all that, then I think right away you'll feel there's no shot at Lakewood Ranch, right? Too far, the entire community is too far. I don't want to drive 25, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. And then that means you probably need a third day to really like say, should we consider Venice? Or, I mean, I haven't seen the 10 communities I can buy in Palmer, or do we just want to go beach condo for like $350 but pay the fees or something like that? So we're going to try to figure that out. I know a lot of people have that kind of issue with going suburbs of that proximity, but 700K is usually 1,000 times of a better spend in the suburbs, especially with the resale right now. New construction is more controllable. So I thought both of those were insightful for many folks if you kind of bottle that and standardize for your criteria. It's the same conversation for 650 and it's the same conversation for 800. So wanted to kind of tell you guys a little bit about that. I have like, I think 4 more calls this afternoon. So hopefully, I mean, this was a little babbly, but hopefully I'll be able to give you some insight there as well, and just kind of continue trying to provide as much value as I can. And then hopefully the more these you hear, the more you're able to prepare in advance and kind of like have a little bit better sense of how many people are trying to do similar things. There's probably 5-6 total things everybody's trying to do. And again, like the more insight and the feedback loop and all that kind of stuff really helps people as they're trying to relocate or invest or whatever it may be. So anyway, I'm gonna hop off here, go grab a coffee, and I will grab you guys here. I think it's 2:30 right now. So I'll probably hop back in about an hour and a half and close out the day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are having a good afternoon. I am wrapping up. It's 5:40 on Tuesday the 29th, and just wanted to kind of wrap up and catch up on the calls this afternoon. So I had 4 calls, I think, between like 2 and 4:30, and I was running errands at the same time. I had to pick up commission check and do different things while I was out, but so I pulled 3 of them. I wanted to kind of give you guys a talk about what they're trying to do and see if it adds any value. But so the first one, so I had a gentleman in Nashville going to sell. So these are good because the first 2 give I know Sarasota feels like it could be, you know, quite fantasy land sometimes with like the normal landscape as far as like, you know, everybody's at cash and they don't need to sell something and all that kind of stuff. But my first 2 calls were related to bridging the gap between selling, purchasing, the jobs came into play, all that kind of stuff. So I have a couple in Nashville that's selling. They're going to list their house in May, and they want to buy something here less than $400K, and they don't want a villa, so they want a single family. And then it looks like it might be Venice. Sorry, I'm driving. Looks like it might be Venice. So so that'll be interesting to see, because you know the Sarasota County is becoming kind of like under 400K is kind of a short list. So what we're gonna do there is they're open to renting in between and bridging the gap. So what we're gonna do there is look at maybe like smaller lot collections in Welland Park, North Venice, maybe some South Sarasota. But we're also we're gonna have to figure out the mortgage or the bridging the gap between the selling thing. So the minute their house gets under contract, we're basically gonna try to like attack something, because they're not gonna buy on contingency, you know, because contingency in the current market is kind of non-existent. So the second call I had was interesting because so if you don't move from like a New York or a New Jersey or a Canada or California or Seattle, where a lot of folks are moving here, but you're moving from like an Ohio or Wisconsin or something like that, then your perspective is very different than if you move from one of the northeastern states or a different state where Sarasota seems more affordable. So that's interesting. It's not as common, but it's interesting because it's the CDDs of the world and the annual taxes and people are in like Ohio are getting, you know, 4 bedrooms and like full family houses for $275. And that's a non-starter for like even a condo in Sarasota. So if you have that perspective, so what you got to kind of open up the options, right? So I had folks that were like, it might be $350. A lot of people are like, it's $350 if we're by ourselves, or it's $425 if my in-laws are living with us or something like that. So we're looking at like, they mentioned kind of Sarasota, but they also mentioned like Tampa because of the price thing. So the one thing to consider is different versions of the city. So if you're shopping and the best way to do it is again, like, I know I simplify a lot of stuff, but the best way to do it is simply Sarasota versus Tampa Bay greater area is how do you attack that, right? So say you're trying to solve that problem. Say you're like under 400 and I need, and have kids, want good school districts, you need a proper house. So say you're trying to solve that in Sarasota versus Tampa, right? So Sarasota, that's a very fringe conversation. You need to be on the outskirts, you need to be with particular builders. Resale is really tough at 400. If you have 4 bedrooms, that really breaks a lot of models as far as the average house, right? That narrows the scope. So that might be maybe a Lorraine Lakes, maybe really hard considering Parish, maybe looking at Venice. And then like you could do resales within Gulfgate or Philby Creek area, that kind of thing. But again, that's really, really tough at that price range. So that would be like access to Sarasota stuff, right? Sarasota County stuff would be doing that search, right? So then if you wanted to say that a cheaper version of that actually right now is to do that version in Tampa Bay. So Tampa's a completely different market, right? But a Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes. So going north of Tampa, Land O'Lakes, Wesley Chapel, Lutz is a little bit pricier, but like Zephyr Hills, Land O'Lakes, I already mentioned. Or going east, like Brandon, Riverview, Apollo Beach, Wamama. But so what you're doing there is like, so I do know for a fact that going north of Tampa is cheaper than going the suburban version of Sarasota County. But what you're doing is you're changing the entire thing. You're changing that you're not accessing Tampa or Sarasota amenities, and you're not accessing Sarasota-based beaches. So it's a different lifestyle completely. You have to get your head around. But if you're requiring a criteria that doesn't work in Sarasota, which is your money's not going to go as far, you might want to say like, okay, well, Parish is our version of doing Zephyr Hills of Tampa, but what town do you want to come down to? What market do you want to be in? That's the biggest decision, because there's not beaches in Tampa, right? So like Wesley Chapel's not closer to the beach than Parish. So people are like Lakewood Ranch is way too far from the beach, but if you're looking at North Tampa in addition to that, right, that's not closer to the beach because all the beaches are in Pinellas County. So you're going over to Clearwater or St. Pete or Treasure Island or Largo, or so you're going that way. So we're kind of shopping that conversation. So that'll be interesting because it's a sell of a house, definitely doesn't want to rent, might be resale or might be quick spec home. But that's a little bit more applicable from a price range of like a lot of folks or whatever. And then it's just an interesting market for that kind of thing. So the unique thing about, my background is that I've lived in like so many places. I'm so transient, is that I could tell you definitively like a Wesley Chapel versus like Parish or Venice. And most people don't translate there, but I've built houses in Wesley Chapel and in Sarasota in the last 5 years, both. So I lived in that market, had a young kid, like I've done that thing. And so I understand those markets like in comparison. And there's a lot of benefits. And the reason I live in Sarasota versus like a Naples or a Fort Myers or something like that is because I love access to going north to Tampa because it's a great area. But I chose my home base one place or whatever. But I do know like I was there when they were building up that area because it was nothing in 2015. And it's full farmland in like 2010. So, that's interesting. And then my second to last conversation of the day was with a couple that are looking to do move from blanking on the area, but it's like a $475 budget. Schools don't matter. And then looking at really like has family in Lakewood Ranch and Venice. So kind of comparing those two. So we're going to look at Windward with Neil, the dream model specifically. We're going to look at Lorraine Lakes, which might be a really, really good fit because of the amenities and the price range. We're going to look at Welland Park. Maybe Grand Palm might be steep at the current moment, but Renaissance, Oasis, might do Venice Woodlands, might do not Aria, but like maybe the Meritage side of Venice Woodlands as well. But we're looking to do that. And then, so we're going to go through all that kind of stuff. And then I have a few calls first thing tomorrow morning I'm going to talk to you guys about. But it's getting interesting, right? So I'm meeting a lot more people that are like, I don't want to rent in between. I don't want to build. And I'm under 500. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the coming months of May. I think we're going to have a lot of availability come from between April and May. So Waterside at Homes by Town recently was like, so I was able to pull someone up. I think I mentioned this early, maybe. I was able to pull someone up to April 1st. But other than that, I think they might have already maxed contracts. So I think they're like literally signing anyone else in May or June. So, but a lot's going to happen this summer, and then it'll be interesting to see if it calms down and a combination of that and resale. But hopefully I'll try to be a little bit more prepared tomorrow as far as like talking the conversations. But when I hear like some really interesting tidbits that relate to a lot of people tell me the same stuff, you know, so I wanted to communicate that to you in real time, right? I just got off these calls, right? I've been talking for 5 hours straight, so I'm a little bit scrambled here, but I hope that helps. So I hope you guys are getting value from this kind of stuff. It seems like people like the blogs, you know, the riff style stuff. Sorry, I'm backing into my driveway, so hopefully I don't hit my wife's car, she'll kill me. But hopefully you guys like this kind of style. I'm gonna do a little bit more volume with this style because there's so much going on that I'll get better about, like maybe trying to record some of this stuff in real time. But yeah, I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the style, right? And it might be close to daily now. And yeah, please let me know if there's anything that, like, any questions or like any commonalities you guys are seeing that you want to know more about, or you want anything else from me, because I'm going to kind of give you downloads of, I do know that I'm talking to like 40, 50 people a week, right? So like, I'm going to try to give downloads to that. I'm going to try to package it in smarter ways, and you'll, and to kind of help provide some more value there. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out the description below. Please check out the other vlogs I've done here. All my information will be in the video. It'll be in the description below. Please reach out if you need anything at all. All my stuff's here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Very grateful for the support. And I will see you on the next one.